How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing, man? It
Man,
is your boy West Coast. I am live with the nation himself, Mr. Law Nation. What's up with you, man?
man, news left and right, man. You know how it goes. Cowboys, this is a crunch time, West Coast, and the Cowboys doing some movements right now. They done signed 3 people today.
Yikes! Hey man, hey, listen to me. We about to get into it, but before we get into it, you guys already know what we got to do. We got to shout out to
Uh-huh.
all the folks, because hey, this is a special day, and it's about to be a
Yo,
whole lot of new faces up in here. Because you know
yo.
how it is. On Christmas and Thanksgiving, everybody like to come around. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be some new faces up in here. But we
Yo.
we want to show some love real quick to some people that be here every day keeping these lights on real quick. You talking about? So
No
real
doubt.
quick, let me get this up real quick. I know my boy Joe Trantrina out there somewhere. What up with you, OG Dwayne? I see you. Mike, I see you. Bumpy T, I see you. My boy Nick Rich, I see you. Hey, I need every single person right now to either
Mm.
hit the share button, which is on all platforms, no matter how you're blessed to watch. Then if you're watching on YouTube, I
Right.
need you to hit the super chat button. It's on. It's your friend aggressively punching. Facebook, the book of faces. I need you to hit that
Yo.
star button. What is the star button? It's only the exact same thing on the super chat. You feel me? It's your way to show us that you appreciate the content and that you want it to grow. And I'm going to tell you, as I see your super chats and your donation, I will do this. Bling, put them on the show. Put them right there, like my boy Jesus. If you don't got a dude named Jesus, so
Yeah.
you might not be doing right in your life. You feel me? I got a Cowboy fan named Jesus that support me. You feel
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Hey, Law,
Yes, indeed, man.
Look at the camera and say West Coast. Calm
West Coast. Calm
down.
down, dog. You know.
Hell no, I ain't calming.
Yes, indeed. So, hey, so news just hit, man, right before we hit that red button, man, to go live. And it was the fact that LVE will be here for 2 years. It's a 2 year, $11 million deal. What's your thoughts on that, on the mighty LVE? He's here for 2 more years.
My thoughts on it is this, man. I think that at $5 million a year, I mean, LVE gets himself basically a $2 million raise. I don't necessarily feel that his play was warranted a raise in any aspect. I thought if you were going to sign him, it needed to be maybe a 2 year deal on something like seven ish. Why? Because then that gets him around the three ish. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is this, man. The Cowboys. I'm gonna say this. This is what I used to say about Jeff Heath. And if you catch it, you understand what I'm saying. If Jeff Heath is your best safety, you are in trouble. But if he's your worst safety, you probably pretty good. If
I
LV
like that notion. I
if
like that.
LVE is our best linebacker on our team, bro, we are in trouble.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I need to get
Yeah.
in a situation where LVE is like my third linebacker. Because I don't mind him being my third linebacker. My problem is him being my first. And I
Well,
go
well,
ahead.
what this does is any other veteran linebacker, in my opinion, I think that the Cowboys going to move back from that. I don't see the Cowboys going with Bobby Wagner now. I think that they're going to try to give the youth most of those reps. So LVE instead of Bobby Wagner is the choice that the Cowboys decided to roll with, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. And you know what, man? This is quintessential Cowboys loving their guy. You know what I'm saying? And you pay a guy. My biggest thing is this, like, and it's like it's crazy because people be like, yeah, but West Coast, you're contradicting yourself because you said that you want Tyron Smith, and Tyron Smith is always hurt. But yeah, but Tyron Smith also plays really, really good when he's available. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the caveat. Like, I don't mind a guy that's injured if when he plays well and when he's healthy, he plays well. My issue
Yeah.
with LVE is like, even when he plays, even when he's healthy, man, like, yes, he did play better at the end of the season. But you got to remember, man, we're not talking about a rookie. We're not talking about a second year vet, third year. We're talking about a guy damn near in his fifth year in the NFL. And you're telling me I don't see anything worth a starter until like the better half of the season? That is like you're hoping. What you're hoping right now is that you're paying him and with the hopes that he gets better. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yep.
what you're paying with him because you're definitely not paying him because of what he's doing right now.
Well, I look at it like this. LVE, even at his scouting report, he plays better with clean pad levels. All linebackers do. So what that means is if the Cowboys keep things in front of him clean, then he can hook to flat good. He can scrape, get to tackles. But my only thing is what's been watered down with LVE stats a little bit, been his depths of tackles. It's one of the worst in the league. So we'll find out. All I'm gonna say is if the Cowboys go out, get a big defensive tackle up front, you will see the fruits of the Cowboys' labor by staying and sticking with LVE, because you see him being a better player.
I think that's almost mandatory now, though. I
It's
think
mandatory.
that's almost mandatory. But you know, one thing I will say is praise God that the Dallas Cowboys did not disassemble my defense, because this is looking at this now. I can say that my defense won't be no worse than what it was last year, and it could have gotten worse. You could have lost Donovan Wilson. You could have. I mean, if you lose Donovan Wilson and you don't sign LVE, you have a straight line of just wherever you want to go, right up that middle. That's going to get you 7-8 yards almost every time. So now the one thing the Cowboys can hold your head on is that this defense won't be no worse. Now, obviously, we want to improve. We want to now improve. So now my thing now, Law U, is like, hey, Cowboy, you want to improve West Coast? Okay. 5th round compensatory pick gets you a former defensive player of the year playing second corner. Hopefully we sign Diggs. What was your thoughts when you heard Stephon Gilmore coming to the Dallas Cowboys?
According to PFF, he was the 9th best DB last season. Now, there's only 8 other DBs that was in front of him. So with that being said, and of course, PFF is one of the worst formulas to go by, because Trayvon Diggs was the 42nd best cornerback. So are there 43 other or 41 other DBs better than my guy Trayvon Diggs? The answer to that is no, right? So now we got to look at it from both perspectives. One being that the Cowboys should be looking at this like, okay, if you bring in a guy like Stephon Gilmore, is it a guy that can bring wisdom and knowledge to the table? Yes. Is it a guy that can help out Dayron Bland? Yes. So I look at all of those yeses as I look at it, man, it's good to have. It's a good problem to have, because he's better than of course, Anthony Brown.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this, right? Sometimes this is what I've learned in life, right? Sometimes you have 2 options, right? You can either be negative $20 in your bank account, or you can be at 0. Which one would you rather? Sometimes sometimes you don't have, life doesn't present you the option of being up.
Right.
Sometimes the best option is just being as good as you were last year at that. Right. Now, I 100% agree with you on the D tackle. Like, you literally stole those words right out of my mouth. You know, the defensive tackle position becomes even more important. And, Bobby Wagner, man, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. As much as appreciate you, Christina, with the 200 stars. As much as I love to see Bobby Wagner with the Dallas Cowboys signing LVE and giving that priority, the reason why I say he got priority is because you got signed on the first day of free agency. So that's priority. When them doing that, I'm 100% agree with you. I definitely feel that pushes Bobby Wagner back. And I wouldn't even be surprised if you wouldn't see Bobby Wagner get signed here soon in the next 2 days by some team.
Because by some team, but not by the Cowboys.
Oh, no, not by the Cowboys. Not by the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? I see, I mean, because my thing is this: if the only thing that was really holding him out there was having an opportunity to be with the Dallas Cowboys, you see a move like this, man, you're moving on. Yeah. And think about this, Law, you were probably gonna be asked to take less money in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, naturally, teams say it. There's been reports out there that a lot of teams look at what they see out of Stephen Jones, and they say, man, they don't like to negotiate with him. Why? Because he's always looking to get over. And it's hard to deal with somebody that's always looking to get over, right? So that's why teams rarely deal with Stephen Jones. They only will work with him when it's time to get like a deal like a Stephon Gilmore, or deal with a guy that's long in the tooth or older in the tooth or older in the game. And those are sometimes an issue that come back to bite us.
Yeah. Hey, shout out my boy Naheem. He says the Voch Raid says howdy. What up with you, man? Tell Voch we said what it do, man. And then you got another one from P Ficus. He says Vice Raids Part 2, Boogaloo. Hey man, y'all come raid West Coast. Yeah, you mean
they raided me. I think Voch was live right before we hit the live button. Shout out to Voch Lombardi. Phenomenal job with the drafting and phenomenal job with his assessment and his analysis of Cowboy players and beyond. That's a remarkable guy, man.
Hey, absolutely. The best film guys in the game is Law Nation and my boy Voch, right? And the cool thing about it is I'll never say anybody does the same thing because they don't, but you got to use the same film. Like if you watch a game, you got to use the same film. It's the only way. There's no way around it. But the cool thing about these guys is you always get different points of view. So that's one thing. And I'm gonna tell you a luxury. This is just a pause. Cowboy Nation, we are low-key blessed because you guys are blessed. There are teams that don't have this quality of content creators where you could literally be like, man, I ain't feeling Law Beard today. Man, Law Beard. I'm gonna go. I don't feel like seeing his beard today. I'm gonna go check out Voch, or I'm gonna go check out West Coast. Why? Because they ain't got beards. You know what I'm saying? So you have mad options, right? And it's like I kind of tie that into with the Dallas Cowboys, right? One thing I will say is this. I wanted Bobby Wagner with LVE still on this team.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this is my thing. I am still going to push common sense because common sense says that, yes, you probably needed LVE and Bobby Wagner because let's just be real. Me personally, I don't want Bobby. I don't want LVE as my middle linebacker. I don't want him as the brains of my defense. I'm sorry, I don't. He played 8-man football for a long portion of his life. I'm not saying that has an effect, but that has an effect. You know what I'm saying?
I only see LVE. I don't see him as strong side. I see him better at middle, though, believe it or not. And what I want Clark to be that new middle linebacker for us. Now, I'm not throwing any salt or shade at my guy LVE, but that's the only spot that I kind of see him at as that Mike because of the hook ability and as his height. I don't want to see him on run support on the outside. So I don't know, man. I think that the Cowboys can still go into this draft and draft a Drew Sanders or go out there and get a Jack Campbell. There's many of guys, Trenton Simpson. We got guys that we can go out there and grab to help solidify this team on this situation.
Hey,
Tyrone says he's a weak side.
Hey, shout out to Voch's burner account with a $5 start with the $5 super chat, and shout out to King Grurich. He says Gilmore restructure extension or one and done. That's kind of crazy because my cousin HTM over at HTM Sports, I was literally on the phone with him as I was racing home. Shout out to boy Treville Steele. I see you. I'm gonna read your comment right after this, and I'm gonna read Marvin's comment after this. We were actually talking about that restructure or extension or one and done, and my thing is this: when I get a come up, Law, I like to come up.
All right.
Know what I mean? Like if I find $100, I want to take that. I don't want to go spend that $100 on some shoes. I want to go put that $100 on a parlay and see if I can flip it. You want to know why? Because I ain't called me. I found $100. If I lose it, what I lose? You know what I'm saying?
Right. House money.
Like this house money, man. You got it for a compensatory pick. Do y'all know what a compensatory pick is? Now, listen, imagine if you was in a relationship with somebody, right? And she be like, in the middle of the relationship, she'd be like, I'm out of here. I can't take this no more. And she leave you, Law. Now, imagine if they gave you another girlfriend or to replace that till you're able to recover. That'd be really dope, right? Just to because when she just leave you, you used to someone cleaning and cooking, you're going to miss all that, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like what a compensatory pick is. You lose a player. The NFL says, damn, look at Law over there trying to make his food by himself. Man, he gonna kill himself, man. He gonna be thin around these parts. Man, go ahead and give him a compensatory pick, because that's what the word compensatory means.
Right.
Give him a compensatory pick.
Replenish.
To replenish what you lost. So think about this. This is 100% a free trade. Like the only thing that you lose is the $9 million, bruh. And I ain't even tripping on the money because last time I checked, Jerry Jones was a billionaire. So I'm not tripping on it.
Man.
But I will say this. Would I restructure him an extension? Yes. I would. And think about this. Right now, he's on a 1-year,
Right.
$9.9 million deal, right? I,
Right.
I would easily be okay with giving him like, and not even like an extension, basically giving him maybe like a $12 million deal, which,
Yeah.
not even 12. It'd have to be because he's at 9. So you have to get him to at least, you'd have to get him at least to close to that. So it had to be like a 2-year, $14 million deal.
Right.
He would put his AP, that means his average per year at $7 million each year. That's only a $2 million bump. But you know what I would do, Law?
What's that?
I would give him a $10 million signing bonus.
All right, just spread out to some of the
So,
woes with it.
so think about this for everybody. If the whole contract is worth $14 million, right? And I give him a $10 million signing bonus, guess what? He still makes the $10 million that he was already projected to make.
True.
And guess what? He only counts $2 million this year and $2 million on the cap next year. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole contract is only going to be $14 million. I'm going to give him $10 million of it right now as a signing bonus. Remember, signing bonuses don't go against your cap. So I'm going to give him that same $10 million because, and think about this, he would 100% agree with it because guess what? He's going to get $9.9 million this year anyway.
Well, that's the only thing is we would have to look at our cash spending and see if we have enough of cash spending to do that. But I feel you. You know, we a $1 billion organization. We should be able to do said things. But the Cowboys, they operate differently. I think I saw Botch in the chat, man. Shout out to him once again. He's one of the GOATs over there, man. I really appreciate him and what he do for the community. So y'all be sure to hit him up and subscribe to his account.
Yes, and absolutely. Make sure y'all do that. But I mean, to answer your question, yes, I'm bringing him back for 2 years. Another reason why, the money, it makes sense. Listen, for all y'all folks that be like, oh, he's 30-some years old. Guess what? That's how it works in life. Every year that you live another year, you get a year older. That's just kind of how it works. It never goes backwards. It always goes the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? So
they calling him old, but imagine us, man. So
said that earlier today, and I know I offended some people, but I'm gonna say it again, man. Listen, most of the people that be telling us that these players are too old are like 10 and 15 years older than that player.
Right, right.
It's like you gotta remember like this. It's first off, when we think of Gilmore, we're thinking, shout out my boy Scott with the $2 super chat. Hey, when we think of Gilmore, you're thinking of a guy that's being asked to be your number one shutdown corner, the guy that's going to be taking on Jamar Chase, the guy that's going to be taking on who's another number one on a team. My mind goes blank because I'm so Cowboy related.
Oh well,
Jordan Jefferson, Justin Jefferson. You're going to be
Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Listen. You think Lamar? Not Lamar. You think Stephon Gilmore can beat? You think he can hold down Minnesota's number 2 receiver? I think so. You think Stephon Gilmore can hold down possibly the 49ers second receiver? What is his name? Ayuk? I think he can run with him.
Yeah.
Who named like that's what we got to take our mind because think about this. Washington. Think about Washington. You think Stephon Gilmore can he can hold his own at 32 against Washington's number 2? Who's Washington's number 2 right now?
Well, it's going to be maybe Jahan Dotson if he elevate his game, but their wide receivers, they do have Terry McLaurin and Curtis, whatever this guy's last name from Ohio. Yeah, Curtis Samuel from Ohio State. Yep.
Philadelphia. He'll be on the young rookie. Not the real rookie, but he'll be on
Brown. I mean, they probably put him on Brown. They'll put him on Devontae Smith.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I didn't mean to call him a rookie, but the youngster. You know what I'm saying?
Youngin. Yeah.
And it's like even on him, I think I'm not gonna say the younger is just automatically gonna win on Gilmore. Because as a veteran, you know what you have? You have veteran savvy. You got to remember Gilmore is a guy that played 17 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Kept himself on the field. One thing I know about veterans, they understand when their athleticism has gone down. That's why as Jordan got older, you saw dunking left and you saw more jump shots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like Stephon Gilmore is a guy that understands. I think he understands what he's able to do. And I'm going to tell you something else that people also are not also thinking about. Oh, my God, I'm going to kiss the guy because he just gave this to me. Jeez. Bruh, this is probably the best defensive front he didn't play in front of too, bruh.
In a minute, yeah. So this will be, yes, indeed. So as a cover 3 corner, you just got to play your zones, and I think that Gilmore, one of his best abilities. Yes, he can play man, but I think he's still a dominant guy in zone cover corners in the league, and you will see some of his zone techniques step right on in, and especially this should be a situation where it's your front can get home and teams. All I want teams to do is think twice about where they're going to release that ball, and that fraction of a second creates a sack. So yeah, that's going to work out well for us. We just got to make sure Gilmore can stay healthy. That's the only thing.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the pendulum for targets is like this is Diggs, this is everybody else, right? Because Diggs is getting targeted like never. People don't want to throw at him, so Diggs is not getting thrown at all, right?
Right.
The Cowboys are about to pay Diggs. They're going to have to pay Diggs, right? You need to get that pendulum to get like this. Like the teams are always going to favor the second corner. Why? Because Diggs is that dude. And to be honest with you, think about this. For anybody who thinks Diggs isn't that dude, the NFL doesn't even support you. You want to know why? Because the NFL quarterbacks showed you that they would rather throw at that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. So guess what? You may think Diggs isn't that dude, but 17 NFL quarterbacks, when it all came together, said, yeah, we're not throwing at him.
Yeah.
We're not going to throw at him. And that's why the Dallas Cowboys had Anthony Brown, who was what? The second most targeted corner in all of football.
It became third down and Brown.
Thanks.
Yeah, it became that, man. So it's one of those things now. Okay, third down and Gilmore. I love that. Go ahead. Try that. You know what I'm saying? Third down and Diggs. Yeah, try that. You know, and even in a pinch, if something down the way happened to Gilmore, it can be now Bland on the outside, and it won't have to be Russian Bland on the outside to go through his growing pains. So all of these things working out for the good, Cowboy Nation.
Absolutely. And think about this. We got to stop. I made this statement a couple weeks ago, and it rings true. We got to honestly stop looking at teams as individuals. And we got to start looking at them as a room, as a collective, right? Especially with them adding more games, because you got to be like this. As they add more games, starters are going to play less, bro. Like, you think that players are really you're going to have guys playing 18 games in the NFL? Absolutely not. You barely have guys playing 17 right now. So, you got to look at your overall room, because there's rarely never a time where you're going to have 2 wide receivers on the field. Everything in the NFL is 3 wide receivers and a tight end almost. Right. So you got to look at how strong is your cornerback room. And it doesn't matter if you like Gilmore. Answer this question. Did your overall room get better by this?
Shoot, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I had to look at it the same way on the opposite side. Like real talk, Eagles last season, Bradbury by himself as an isolated situation for the Giants. Shoot, you burnt that brother up. But Bradbury now with Slay, it made things better for him, because he didn't no longer had to be the number 1 DB, and Slay didn't no longer have to be the number 1. It was like mix and matching. And although Slay was the better DB out of the two, now you move that over here to the Cowboys world. You got Diggs, and now you got Gilmore. It just makes the quarterbacks hold on to that ball a little bit longer, and it allows your other edge guys to get home, or your linebacker to shoot through the middle. There's so many things that can work with that.
Absolutely, man. And it's like, man, the one thing I absolutely love is this, man. This feeling, these shows that we're having right now that have breaking news in the front of them, Dallas Cowboys that are related to free agency. Oh man, this is what this feels like. I never knew what this felt like. I like this feeling.
Yeah,
I like this feeling of activeness. And I'm gonna tell you guys, the one thing that I love about this is coming after you lose in the second round of the playoffs, y'all. This isn't a team that won 4 games last year and that's trying to scramble. You got to remember, you're still adding all this to a team that won 12 games last year without a Gilmore. You know what I'm saying? 12, a team that still was second, you know what I mean? 6 points away from going to the NFC Championship game to play a team that you always beat.
Yeah. True.
Like, think about that. 6 points. Like, I think in the grand scheme of things, man, Cowboys, man, and my boy said this earlier, man. Like, we always give the Cowboys, we give them hell, man, when we feel like they not going in the right direction and things like that. Listen, the Cowboys may not be getting the actual players that I want, but some of the moves, like the moves that I wanted them, bro, they're doing the right thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like Kellen Moore, oh my God, where's he at these days?
Here's the thing, though, man. In Cowboys world, right? Sometimes you and I will be right, but it takes us a minute. It takes everybody a minute to catch up, right? So even with like the Jason Garrett situation, a lot of people had the expectations when he was here for us to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And when he went off to another team, where they went to, they were pretty much horrible in offense. Right? You can't even find a head coaching job for Jason Garrett. So those expectations are now tempered. Now we got to look back at what we've seen out of Kellen Moore. What we're saying that, yeah, he may be young. He may be a guy that you can see down the line that can be great. But for right now, he's not good for the Cowboys because they was experimenting. So we'll find out at the end of next year how things looking. But they already got their starting running back saying, hey, can I request a trade? Can I get on from this team? You know?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you this right now. For the first time, I think the Dallas Cowboys are one of the few, we're usually the team in our division that's taking things off. Like, for whatever reason, the Dallas Cowboys, we've always thought, or not even always, because Jerry never actually thought like this. And back in the early 90s and stuff, in the early 2000s, he definitely believed in the opposite way. But here lately, we've had this mindset that we get better by subtraction. That that we're a body and there's a cancer and we're gonna get healthy by cutting this cancer off, right? Where the rest of the world, the rest of the NFL looks at themselves as like a diminished body that says, hey, we need to eat more. We need more vegetables. We need more calories. We need more this. Why? So that we can get healthy and so that we can get better. And it's like, for the first time, I feel like the Cowboys are actually they are actually trying to add players to make this team better, and not just adding players to rebound because you lost this or this player's hurt. Like this Gilmore move, this was a really good move, man. This was a really good move. I mean, could the Cowboys have gotten somebody younger, man? You can always find someone younger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for a team that's if you're a team that says we have a window, this is a move. You can make this move.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Whereas we were 12-5 last year, not 5-12.
Facts.
And the Cowboys' record, whenever we don't win, it seems as if though hell fire, everybody's going to lose their mind and these sorts of things. But all last year, we didn't have back-to-back losses, right? And on top of that, we did win a playoff game. I don't care if Tom Brady was 92. We beat him, right?
We beat him.
So at the end of the day, we won a playoff game. And do Law Nation, do West Coast, do we want more? Yes. But like you said, you brought up a very great point last week or the week before last about, hey, let's not have open heart surgery, right? Let's just move a few pieces and let's not burn the whole house down. So we are doing just that now. We got rid of some of the old dead weight, and we're making one or two moves, and so far we feeling good about it.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm feeling optimistic about it. Like these are, Jerry Jones. Hey man, you know how to sell them tickets, boy. Like Disco had them tickets, sell it, boy. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because man, this is one reason why we always loved Jerry and why we always cherished him. Why? Because no matter what, Jerry gave us something to hope for.
Hope. Hold on, pain is ending.
You feel me? Like Jerry. Yeah. I mean, I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what the wide receiver core look like. I don't care. Jerry's gonna do something. He's gonna do something to bring some hope. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna do something to bring some hope. Now, I got a question, man, because with the Cowboys, the reason why you need a two-headed monster at the corner positions. Why? Because most teams have a two-headed monster at the wide receiver room. Cowboys don't necessarily have that. I think it's crazy if the Dallas Cowboys can look out into the NFL and be like, dang, we need a second corner. Why? Because everybody got two good receivers. And not look at their own room and be like, well, damn, we might want to go get somebody ourselves.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, man? Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You about to make a point.
I was just gonna say, like, do you think a move like Gilmore that should enlighten the Cowboys' eyes? Like, maybe we do need a, you know what I'm saying? If we got to sup everybody else's number two, don't we need to have a number two wide receiver to make their number two stop some guys?
It's a yes. I do like that philosophy, but this shouldn't change up your draft board. If with the 26th pick and you have a BPA, you have your draft chart up there, and you still have a Joey Porter Jr. if he somehow falls to the 26th, or you have a Cam Smith that's high, or a Weatherspoon if he somehow falls to the 26th spot, and you still have him on your draft board, I wouldn't hesitate, because the great Bill Parcells said, if you think you're great at that spot, draft again. So leave no stone unturned, but this will allow us to have a little cushion just in case those things don't fall. So that's why it's always important for the Cowboys to do these things. And that's what we've been banging on the table for. We draft pretty well, but we don't do the things on the back end good.
Yeah, and this is something else too. Like, when you draft well, you don't want that to be your all eggs in your basket. Like,
right,
you can't keep holding your head on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, eventually life or circumstances is going to conquer what you do well. Like, that's just what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like eventually you're gonna have to add to it. So it's like, I like that the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, I always say this, we always put Christmas before Thanksgiving. Like, I love that the Dallas Cowboys, they're actually giving free agency its time. They're giving free agency its moment, and they're capitalizing on it. And one thing you guys already know, I believe that you should fix your team in free agency. Every hole that you think that you have on your team, you should bring in a free agent to bring it. Because you got to think, even if you listen to me, even just because you bring somebody in don't mean they're gonna make the team. Like, come on now, knock it off. You still, right now, you guys know we're not technically trying to build a 53-man roster. We're trying to build a 100-man roster. We're trying to build a roster to take the training camp in July. You know what I'm saying?
I like that saying. Yeah.
You're looking for the best 100 players to take the Oxnard. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, listen to me. So, if the cap works, sign as many people, sign them all. You know what I'm saying? And you're absolutely right. Because you know what I was thinking, Law? When you were saying this shouldn't change your draft board, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, like, dang, what if we would have had a better corner, Trevon Diggs, rookie year? That's it. Because he was good his second, and he was better his third. Okay. That rookie year was kind of.
He's still learning, man. Yeah, and he still had more INTs than what we had in the last 5 or 6 years out of that spot. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we saw some things, and we were like, let's build upon that. Those 3 to 4 interceptions he had his rookie year turned into 11 his second year. And he had some last season that fell out of his hands. I think he was probably trying to do too much. But when you look back at everything, it do take time for these DBs to get it together.
Yeah, so I think Gilmore, he would be a great Band-Aid to something else. Like, if Gilmore is your Band-Aid till you get a guy that has to be here for a year, year and a half before, you won't really see, you'll actually see the play gets better. What we're tired is having our play like this and then like this.
Right. And then like this. And then like this. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we're tired of. You know what I'm saying? And the most extreme is what we saw at the quarterback position. I mean, look at what we did from Troy Aikman to Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was up, and then it was down. Then you had Quincy Carter get us to the playoffs with 21 interceptions, and we went back down.
But another thing I'm saying is, who's getting their toys? And the people that's getting, the team that's getting their toys right now, remember, it's three phases: offense versus defense versus special team. They're supposed to be neutral. So right now, it could be Dan Quinn. He getting all of his pieces. He's getting a re-signed LVE. He had to have something to do with that, right? He getting Dono, who's re-signed. He had something to do with that. And then you're getting Gilmore, right? So those are all toys that belong to him. I need Big Mike to move his weight around now during this offseason. What type of toys he's going to get? Can you go into details of that?
Well, honestly, keep it real, Law. I
Talk
might have to give you a little pushback on that one, man.
Holla at me.
Because the money say you already playing with the Xbox. You got the PS, you got a PS5 in deck. Because no matter what you say about him, he was still a quarterback that lost in the second round playoffs, and he's getting paid.
Yeah.
You got an Xbox Series in CD Lamb. You got another PS5 in Zach Martin. You know what I mean? Like, you got a couple good toys on that offense. You know what I'm saying? Just think about this. Imagine there was a time where Kellen Moore had Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott.
Can I be angry? But I'm not able to play with my toys. You know, Big Mike couldn't play with Amari Cooper.
Like,
Stephen Jones allowed his guy Kellen Moore to play with those toys. Big Mike was here for 3 years now, and he didn't get a chance to play with none of his toys.
Yes, and
I love this analogy though, by the way.
Yes, so think about this, man. It's like I think, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right here, right? I always get a lot of pushback because I force myself in a realistic world to think more like the Joneses. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all,
okay,
that's that. If you want to be in this content world, there's 2 things you can do. You can be right, or you can be like the Joneses.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of times, you know, I make content on being like the Joneses. Why? Because I know this is what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you guys disagree with me. It's not that I'm saying that I agree with what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is how I think Jerry views this. I think Jerry is looking at the offense like, bruh, the offense and 100% a pie, because, you know, Jerry loves talking about that pie.
That pie.
Loud Nation now. Loud Nation. I'm going to give you guys a rule. Whenever a billionaire does this, he's either about to screw you or lie to you. Okay?
Wait a minute.
Okay. Jerry Jones, he gonna go like this. Cross them legs. He gonna say, now, Law Nation, now, I got this pie, it's an apple pie. And the offense has been taking up about 73% of that pie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we've had some success with that pie. That pie's been real good. I'm not gonna say I disagree with that pie, but I think we can all agree that the crust has been the defense, and that 28 has been really holding the whole 100% together. So, you know, adding more pieces to that pie I don't know. I think it's Dan's time to get a little bit more pie, if you know what I mean, because he's been doing a lot with the crust.
but that is great. But when I look back at it, man,
and I don't agree with it. That's what I'm just saying.
I feel you though. But on that pie, guess what? For the 2023 season, the Marcus Lawrence slice and Dak Prescott slice is the same slice. They both taking up 11% of the doggone salary cap since the renegotiation restructure. So Quinn, you get a piece of the pie, and Mike McCarthy, you get a piece of the pie. But Big Mike, he's starving now. As big as he is, he's starving because I want something to add it next to CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup, that was one of those pies that when they sliced it, it kind of crumbled up a little bit.
Man, my question is this.
You need to get something good with that pie. Go ahead.
My question is this. I want to put Cowboys in an awkward situation.
Right.
I make you feel awkward, because when you feel awkward, you change what you're doing. Y'all be mad at Zeke every day because his 60. Y'all know Zeke is not about to play on $16 million. Like, come on, I don't even talk about that as being. You know he's not going to play on $16 million. Like, stop it. Okay, we don't got to argue about that. It's not about is he worth it. He was never going to play on $16 million unless he's the best player in football position.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But realistically, I have an issue when people be like, "Oh, Zeke can't. He needs to go to $3 million, $4 million." Like, bruh, if Michael Gallup, if you're telling me that the Dallas Cowboys are going to pay Michael Gallup $11 million this year, and he gave you what last year? I'm not hating because y'all put the stats in the comment box, because when I say a stats, y'all be trying to act like I made him up to hate on him, but I didn't. He did that with his own legs. If he's going to give me, if I'm hoping that he's going to go from that to $11 million worth, but you're mad because I'm okay with giving Zeke 10 to just do what he did last year, maybe just stay healthy 2 more games and he gives you guys the 1,000 yards. But, bro, what about them 72 points, bro? 12 touchdowns.
It's a lot of points. All right, so
and think about this, Law.
Talk to me.
How many games did we really blow teams out last year? There wasn't a lot of blowouts.
Minnesota, the Colts in the third quarter for the Colts. Do the Chicago Bears count as a blowout?
I think it will on paper, but if you watch that game, we was all like, man.
Yeah, it kind of like, oh man, struggle fest in the middle of it. Yeah, it was like, come on, man. All right, and the Giants, that was a blowout to me. That last touchdown was very cheaply. So
think about this. Those 12 touchdowns were all impactful to the game. So I can almost guarantee you there's some games where if you remove those rushing touchdowns, you probably don't win that game. So those 12 touchdowns put us in positions, whether you like it or not, to win football games. If you tell him, and listen to me, stop saying, oh, but it's the running back position. Listen to me. My bank account don't know the difference. It doesn't. My bank account don't know the difference. $11 million is $11 million. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm sitting down right now and I'm saying, Zeke, explain to me how you gonna give me $11 million worth of production, or Michael Gallup, you explain me how you gonna give me $11 million worth of production. And let's just be real. There is nobody right now that can honestly believe that Michael Gallup is going to give us $11 million worth of production next year. That's why you guys want another receiver. Think about this, Law. If we believe that Michael Gallup was going to give us $11 million worth of production, we would not be asking for Odell Beckham, DeAndre Hopkins, and anybody of that sort. We wouldn't be.
I got this one right here.
Go.
That's why they went to him and talked to him in your Jerry Jones voice, and they said, hey, either we going to cut you or we going to restructure you so we can add more for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why, because only a year in, they already went to the watering well with Gallup and restructured some of his money, right? So I bet you Gallup like, yes, I'm willing to stay, because any other team, if he cut on the free market or what have you, they're going to be looking at it like, man, back-to-back off-season surgeries, man. Nah, you know what I'm saying? So that's why they already moving stuff around. The Cowboys, they are not finna sell this deal right here, these deals, if it's something that they done did and went out there and made some big moves. These are very solid moves right here, but they are not big moves. A Stephon Gilmore LVE signing, as well as a Dono. Those are good moves, but there ain't no shade at those boys. Those are not big moves, but it's enough to have us to sit back a little bit. But we still waiting for that big move, are we?
I believe so. Hey, shout out to you. Hey, Dallas Mack just gave you $10. He said people act like Zeke got to run 90 yards on a drive for his TDs. You, sir, about to get yourself. Hey, Dallas T, you send that boy one more $10, and I'm gonna send you a run the damn ball hat, man. Send me your address. I got you, because that's a fire ass comment right there.
No doubt, man. I got Coach Marv too. He says, "Law, I told you about Colts were unloading over there. Have you checked at DeForest Buckner? You know, I'm gonna look him up, Coach Marv again.
Defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, he defensive guy, big boy. I think he had like 8 sacks. He averaged 8 to 9 sacks a season. He would be a good guy for us, you know. But you know, it is what it is.
I mean, this is my thing. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for a D tackle, man. I'm all for a D tackle. I think right now if you had to ask me what's the most important position or what's the next move, the Cowboys got to get a guard, bro. Or you got to let us know what's going on with offensive line, because I think a huge question mark that's not really getting talked about is, like, listen to me. We all said as soon as Connor McGovern was gone, we was like, yes, on the low. We were like, yeah, it's out of here. Get it. Yeah.
Okay.
I told you he wasn't good. Out of here. Yes. And you know what we did? We went on about our business. Now, guess what? On March 15th, 14th, you can do that. You can do that. But about skin 30 July, y'all gonna be wondering, hey man, who the hell is our guard, bruh? You know what I'm saying? Because right now, technically, you don't have a starting left guard on this team.
Technically, you don't. You're right. Yeah. What's your thoughts on this offensive line?
My thoughts is this, man, and I'm about to scare you. Hit him with the doo-doo-doo. Hit him with the doo-doo-doo. Shout out Dallas Mac. Hey, Dallas Mac, inbox me or inbox Law, and I'll get you your hat. This is my theory. How did the last guard get his job? Okay, let's take a look at this. Connor Williams got drafted as a tackle out of Texas and got moved to guard. So he wasn't a guard in college. He was a tackle in college who got put at guard. That is not a guy who earned the position. That is a default move, right? How did Connor McGovern get the job from Connor Williams? Did he beat him in the open square? Did he dominate him in practice? Was he slinging Micah Parsons around? No. Connor Williams went to the Miami Dolphins, and we didn't have nobody else there. So we put Connor McGovern there.
Or he didn't even win that spot because there was Tyler Smith's spot. Tyron got hurt, so we had to emergency put Connor McGovern there.
So think about this. Now, the Cowboys have showed you how the Cowboys believe in their system of offensive linemen. So unfortunately, I believe like your starting guard is probably going to be, who is Connor McGovern's backup? I think he just probably earned himself some money.
Matthew Forniak, I believe. I think Matthew, I'm going to have to look back at some more of his tape. I think he was more of a right guard in college, right guard center. So yeah. So he's going to be your new swing guard.
If the Cowboys do what they have done at that position, that's probably gonna be your starting guard.
Man, this is what they need to do then. With the 26th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Osiris Torrance. you know, Florida Gator. So that's probably where they're gonna go because I don't.
What's the starting offensive line if you draft him?
A starting offensive lineman would be. It's literally going to be this right here, and it seems as if though I'm crazy with this, it would still be Tyron Smith as your left tackle, Tyler Smith as your left guard, and of course you got Tyler Biotish as your center, Zach Martin, and then the Cowboys just need to get off of this doggone high horse and go ahead and sign Terrence Steele as their right tackle. Stop playing around with it before somebody give you that second round draft pick, and now you're in trouble at your right side. So I think that's what it's going to be, but it's going to be a situation whereas we all know, and I'm not wishing this on anybody, right? But we all know that Tyron Smith is eventually going to go down again, and then they're going to slide it over to Tyler Smith being your left tackle. I'm not saying that Tyler Smith will get hurt, but what I'm predicting that he is. But go ahead.
I mean, listen. Hey, my grandpa always said it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Okay. Can I piss y'all off real quick? All right.
Piss away.
Okay. There it is. Listen to me. I don't listen to me. He wasn't on the goodest of standards when he left Dallas.
Right.
Just saying, he a big country boy and he cool with your quarterback. And he just so happened to play right tackle. And he just so happened to get released. If you know who I'm talking about, put his name in the comment box. You know what I'm saying? His name's, is Lael Collins. I'm just saying.
He got released?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. If you know what I'm saying, if he hasn't got released, the mix is that there's a chance that he might be. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if that happens,
go ahead.
If that happens, you know what I'm saying? Because think about this: what you're really looking for, Law, you're looking for a guy to hold you over until Terrence gets back. Because the Cowboys only got him on a 1-year deal. And the same thing you said, the moment that the moment that he's able to play, if he's still on that tender, a team is gonna go get him. You're gonna have to give him a contract. Because think about this, Law. The Cowboys felt so highly about Terrence Steele that they gave him a second round tendered as a hurt player. So that makes me feel that, like, if he was not hurt, he would have probably either got paid or he would be a first round tender. Yeah, and even at a first round, bro, if you were a first round, if you were a team that needs a left tackle, I think you probably give up that first round pick. I think a team for the target, I think a team would actually do it. You know what I'm saying? I see Avante Collins, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Avante Collins had to have walked in on the Dallas Cowboys. I ain't gonna say allegedly killing somebody, because he is in the dog houses of dog houses. Like, I don't understand. Like, there was a moment in this season when Avante Collins was 100% healthy and they skipped him. Like, I don't know. I like Avante Collins. He was solid at training camp. He was also solid in preseason. Like, I was thinking that they were gonna maybe stuff like that tripped me out. Like, Avante Collins, honestly, he's like the new Donovan Wilson. Like, let's just be real. He's the new Donovan Wilson. Like, Donovan Wilson is a dude that, like, if you went to training camp and you watched preseason games, you're like, bro, how the heck does a dude who has 3 interceptions in his rookie year, 3 interceptions, 3 takeaways in his rookie year, not end up playing at some point? Because I don't know, man. He has some dirt on somebody. Avante Collins reminds me, his situation, Avante Collins and Donovan Wilson, they remind me of themselves. Like, Avante Collins is gonna have to, like, find that coach that just rocks with him. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. If it wasn't for Dan Quinn, Donovan Wilson would have never happened. Because the last 2 OCs, they was not rocking with Donovan Wilson. They wasn't rocking with him.
Yeah. He was in the doghouse. All right. So what did I miss? You was talking about
somebody said, why not Avante Collins? I said, shoot, I don't know. You tell me. What's up? Ask Jerry. Let's call him. Go ahead.
Look at it. It's March, man. It's March the 14th right now. There will be these things that happen, the draft, right? And then after the draft, there will be people high on their drafted players, and they say, well, they no longer need XYZ player, and we pretty much can go out there and pick up somebody that's on the free agent list after the draft to fill in some of those other avoided areas that we have on that front 5. So I'm quite sure that the dynamics of this front 5 will be totally different. And keep in mind, with this West Coast offense, we will have our guards pulling more, pushing out in traffic, right? And we would be a whole different type of team. We would be like a run schemed team better. So this is going to be a whole different philosophy and principle and approach.
Question in Law. If that, listen, because hey man, he watched that film, right? If the film say that my guards got to be nasty, because that's what it sounds like you just said. My guards got to be nasty.
They're gonna be nasty. Yeah.
They got to be UFC fighters. You know what I'm saying? Hajibu, he ha. You know what I'm saying? I almost feel like Tyler Smith at guard might be like, yes, he was good at that tackle position, but if I need a young guy that's gonna be violent, like a larger part of time, especially if we're gonna be running the ball, man, that, I know Cowboys, listen to me. Call me a Cowboy homer if you want, but before I die, I need to see Tyron Smith play left tackle again. I don't care. I gotta see it. I just don't believe that he got injured and just don't know how to do it no more. I just don't believe it.
Oh, you talking about Tyron Smith?
Yeah, Tyron Smith. You know their names all sound alike.
Yeah, man, they do, man.
I say
T Smith. Then you can't even just say T Smith, man. What they thinking with these guys and these names?
We got 2 T6. We have 2. But I mean, that's really my thoughts. Like, the Cowboys, we actually have some moves that we can make. You know what I'm saying? If you switch, because I mean, I've suggested this. Why not give Tyron Smith, a guy that you've said is a Hall of Famer, and everybody said is a Hall of Famer, who is healthy? Think about this. The only negative thing you say about Tyler, oh my God, the only thing you say negative about Tyron Smith is that he can't stay healthy. Okay, well, when he can't stay healthy, we'll deal with that aspect. He's healthy right now. So since he's healthy right now, the same thing I asked about Tony Romo in that playoff game. Why can't the best person play? Like, I get what you want to do with Dak in the future. Dak is still going to do what he's going to do. But I feel that in this moment, right now, bro, play Tyron Smith at the position that nobody in the NFL is probably better than him at. Then guess what? You have Tyler Smith on a 5-year contract. He's a first-round pick. And think about this. We know for a fact the Cowboys love franchise tagging folks. So he really on a 6-year contract because he's going to get that tag at least once. So you got theoretically 2 years that you can just burn. You did it to Byron Jones. You brought Byron Jones in the NFL, played him at safety, right off the muscle for 2 years. Then was like, oh, yeah, let's go play him at his natural position.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up. But, to say all of this, man, I just can't wait for the draft so that we can, stop talking about the unknown, where we can see, all right, this big boy going to be the starter, and this guy going to need to be this guy. But for right now, man, it's still too soon. It's way too soon.
It is too soon, but I'd say this, Law. If when you look at this team right now, and every day you got to look at your team and say, is my team better? Did I do something today to make that Dallas Cowboys better? Or because your team is literally like a bank account. Like, you're either going to add to it and it's going to have a positive, balance, or it's going to be, you're going to take from it and it's going to have a negative balance. You know what I'm saying? And every day, life is going to, whether it be injury or contract, you're always going to be losing stuff. Stuff's always going to be taking away. And I think, the moves that the Cowboys are making, it definitely gives the Dallas Cowboy Nation hope to think that we can actually be a better team than last year because we're actually building on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's always good. And then second thing, the two things the Cowboys really got to do to me, and I'm just going to lose my mind, is even if they just bring in some type of guard. You know what I'm saying? Some type of guard. You know what I'm saying? Some type of like what they're doing with Gilmore. Like, listen to me. We all know Gilmore is a Band-Aid. We're not looking at him nothing more than a Band-Aid. You know what I'm saying? But he's a really good Band-Aid. Like,
let me ask you this too.
Go ahead.
Who just won the Super Bowl?
Lord, the goddamn Chiefs did with 4 All-Pros.
And what was their first move this offseason?
I think they went and got a tackle, didn't they?
Right. And who's the best quarterback in the NFL?
Well, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. So what I'm saying here is the Cowboys' next move need to be an offensive lineman, somebody that can help this team out. And I'm not saying this cheaply because 4 out of the 5 guys were injured last season. We played musical chairs with that. And the next move need to be Cowboys. I need to have my breaking news button, and it need to go somewhere along these lines right here. Where my breaking news button is. Right here you go. The Dallas Cowboys signed Terrence Steele to a 3-year contract, so they can go ahead and solidify this offensive line. Don't need to play around with this. Go ahead and re him up, or they need to go out there and figure out a way to bring forth a legitimate offensive lineman, regardless of what it need to be at. We can all argue about Tyler Biotis. He's concrete. We can all talk about the expectations of Tyron Smith being healthy for the 2023 season. And we can talk about sliding Tyler Smith, who was a great tackle for us, out of a rookie at that spot back to guard versus playing tackle. But technically, they need to go ahead and make the decision to get a legitimate guy in here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this, like, everything that you do should be double dipping. Like, unfortunately, the Cowboy Nation, we have been trained that it's like I feel like, have y'all seen the movie The Good Son, where you got Elijah Moore right here, and then you got Macaulay Culkin's weird looking self? I would have dropped him too. But if you older than 35, you know this movie. There's a scene at the end where she literally has her nephew in this hand and she has her son in this hand right here, and she got to let one of them go, right? And I feel like sometimes Cowboy fans be literally thinking that we're on this ledge and we gotta pick between this one or this one. Like, most teams are like, no, we're trying to figure out a way to get both. If we can't get both, then we'll go to one or the other. But the option should always be to try to have both of them. Because listen to me, like you said, Bill Parr says, if you think you're good, basically do more. You know what I'm saying? because in the NFL, what's always going to get tested is your strength. Like teams aren't gonna text your weak. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna text your weakness, but they're gonna beat your weakness because your weakness is your weakness. Teams are gonna test you what you are strong at. So you gotta, and I'm a Bible reader, and the Bible says the only way to beat the strong man is to beat the strong man at his game. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. Like even in the prison system, what they say when you walk in, you find the biggest dude, and what do? You punch him in the face.
You punch him in the face.
They go find dude. Go ahead.
Yes, indeed. But no, all valid points. And it goes back to the philosophy, going back to what that principle was. Hey, if you think you're good at a spot or great at a spot, draft again. Those are concrete things that you need to apply. And the thing is, what Cowboy Nation is we do a great job of tearing down our own, right? We always do a job of, okay, Diggs is good, but he's not Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper good, but he's not Diggs. Ezekiel Elliott is good, but Tony is better, right? We do that between even the offensive linemen. Yeah, man, Terrence Steele, man, he all right, but he ain't La'el Collins, right? La'el Collins is better. We do that when La'el Collins was here. We do that across the board. I've seen people make arguments all last year. Bland literally is better than Diggs now, and that's what we do because people – they talk about this team so much, whereas other teams, they look at it like, shoot, give me this number one wide receiver. Give me another number one wide receiver. Give me these two top-tier running backs. Let's put them on the field at the same time. Let's make this dangerous. It won't be long before people start fighting each other over Jake Ferguson versus Peyton Hendershot. It's just what the Cowboy fans do.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really like, if you want to see the difference, go look at the freaking Buffalo Bills. Like their quarterback was probably single-handedly the reason why they did not win their playoff game, and they lost at home by him throwing multiple interceptions. And guess what? You don't hear their fan base out like they are on Dak. And people say, yeah, that's because he's only been in the league 3. Y'all know that don't mean nothing to us. That only means something else when we talk about someone else's quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the reason being is because they remember Eli Manning and a bunch of other quarterbacks that they've never had before. You know what I'm saying? True. So it's like even when their quarterback does have those moments, they're able to grow with them. And it's like, this is the point now that it's like, I think this is a fully mature team. This is a fully mature team. We're at the point now where we're so mature that if we don't do something, we're going to start souring. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like fruit looks its best. When it's at its best, it's all right. But guess what? If you don't eat it when it's ripe, what did it do? It starts souring. It starts smelling. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys are primed. We are primed. We are primed right now. Listen to me. I am okay with any decision that the Dallas Cowboys that backs up this statement. We want to win now. Anything that talks about next year and 2 years from now, I don't care about that. I don't care about financially stable next year. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? And as Cowboy fans, you shouldn't care about that. That's a mature Cowboy fan. A mature Cowboy fans, guess what? He says, listen, if we got to do what the Rams did, where they won a Super Bowl, and in the next year we only won 5 games, guess what? We'll deal with that when it comes.
It
may not happen to us. It didn't happen.
It may not happen. And the Rams can say, hey, we wasn't dead last in our division or their division. The Cards were. And there are a lot of people that would go back and forth with us and say, well, Cards, Kyler Murray, he's the best quarterback they've seen. He's better than Dak. There are a lot of people would say that, right? They had D-Hop. They had wide receivers that they made acquisitions for. They made acquisition Buda Baker on the defensive side. They had weapons over there.
They were trying.
Yeah. And they gave their quarterback $230 million. You know what I'm saying? That's $70 more million than Dak Prescott getting over here. So is Kyler Murray $70 million better than Dak Prescott? No. But they was dead last in their division over there.
Yeah. Hey, one little subject I want to talk about before we get out of here, Law, and that is this, because you brought up division, and I think this is very important. Like, this is not the year where you could just be like, okay, my team from last year is going to be good enough, because the division around you is losing players, but then guess what? They're also enhancing players. Like, one thing I do like about this is when you see the Giants trading and go get their tight end, you know what I'm saying? Listen to me. I like when Schultz was in the division by himself, we basically clearly had the best tight, not the second best tight end in football. Now it's teeter-tottering. You know what I'm saying? With Wilder, man, now the NFC East is damn near about to be tight end you. You know what I'm saying? Tight end division. Like, you don't want to be caught without having some solid tight end. So that was actually a really good point at what you said about Ferguson and Henderson. Really, really good points. This is with them going in and getting Wilder, bro. This is not the year. This is not the year to be trying to figure out your tight end. No, this is the year to be trying to look at our team and saying, hey, what can we do to and more importantly, Law, what can we do to win 13 games? Because think about this. Before we let y'all go, I'm going to tell you, think about this. 12 games was not good enough to get us a home playoff game.
Right.
So we can't expect for it to be good enough next year. 12 games, we were still 5th in the conference. We were the 5th seed team with 12 games. And think about this. There was literally only one game between us and the number 1 seed.
Right.
Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Crazy story. You played the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed this year in the regular season. That is the Philadelphia Eagles twice, and you play the 49ers. Man, this season is about to be cracking, bro.
It's about to be, man. Hey, you asked earlier this episode, name me teams we blew out, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 teams that we were heading to blowing them out, and we end up losing those games. Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We was on the cusp of breaking them down, right? Or blowing them out, and we didn't finish. So the Cowboys finished this fight, man, and add some more pieces around it.
Oh, Jason Garrett sounded.
Yeah. Finish. Oh, yeah. What Jason Garrett say?
Finish the fight.
Finish the fight.
We're gonna.
How you doing, guys?
How you doing, guys?
Finish the fights, man. Good points by you two earlier today, man. Let's go.
Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all. Hey, Law, when is the final word coming on tonight?
About an hour and a half from now. So we'll be live at 8:00 Dallas time, Texas time.
Dallas time, Texas time. Hey, before I let you go, man, what's your thoughts on Bijan Robinson?
Phenomenal running back, probably be the tier 1 running back of this class. But running backs, it's a fickle process with them. Hey, Zach Charbonnet can be probably the best running back, or Spears or Gibbs. It's so many names, man. Sean Tucker, all of those boys. But for right now, Robinson tape looked phenomenal. He can catch out of the backfield. When I look at his film assessment, he's kind of remind me of a Saquon Barkley.
Ooh.
And Ezekiel Elliott, if they were kind of like mashed together, and had a love child. So he's nice. I like what he can do. So we'll find out. I think he would probably be he'd be the first running back gone for sure.
I think another question is, like, what is the delta? I mean, what is the difference? Because, I mean, Bijan, you may see Bijan as the best, or you may see this guy as the best. But the question is, what's the delta? What's the difference? What's the great difference between this guy and that guy? You know what I'm saying? And if it's only this, then you might be able to, you know what, I might compromise and take this over that. You know what I'm saying? Because you get a little bit more on the value end. But hey, man, it's your boy West Coast, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. This has definitely been a blast, man. We had ourselves a great time. Make sure you guys tune in tonight for the final word, and I'll be live. I will be live later on today with HTM Sports, and we'll be doing our little show, man, if we do, man. But make sure y'all tune into the final word right here on Law Nation. And man, you guys already know. Hey, Law, man, I ain't gonna ask you where they're gonna find it, because, man, anywhere on the internet, all you gotta do is type in Law Nation, and he's gonna pop up with his beard like that. You know what I'm saying? And hey, and you already know, anywhere that you type in, anywhere in the world where there's internet, type in West Coast Cowboy, and I'm gonna pop up like this. You know what I'm saying? Either way, you got you covered, man. You guys already know what it is. Never look down, because the star's up. Peace.